Now at 5, police in Newell, Missouri are searching for a suspect who they say shot a dog with an arrow. Plus, several students in Joplin are heading to a state competition showing off their technical skills, and
a face-to-face meeting between the U.S. and Russia. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with what was discussed as the war rages on in Ukraine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We have plenty of rain still in the way and some flooding chances for parts of the area. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. We go straight to meteorologist Sam Lane for a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. Yeah, we've already had rounds of rain earlier today, even some severe thunderstorms, but those have now pushed off towards the north and east. But look down to the south and west. We have yet another batch of storms headed up our direction. In fact, tornado watches and warnings are ongoing in southeastern Oklahoma, down into North Texas. All of this complex is kind of drifting towards the north. Don't expect any tornado activity in our area, just some heavy rainfall. But earlier today, we saw some hail. This was down in Miami. You can see it piled up there. Looked like snow on the ground, up to $half size. We even had some hail here at the station as well. And that is a continued possibility with these storms as we go through the overnight hours. Temperatures dropping through the 40s all the way down to 37 by tomorrow morning. And looking down the lane, we have heavy rain tonight and then maybe a mixture tomorrow morning. But the weekend looks pretty good. Saturday looks great with sunny weather and also warmer on Sunday. And I'll have all the details coming up in just a bit.
See you soon. Police in Newell, Missouri believe they've identified a man who shot a dog with an arrow, and now they're trying to find him. That man is Jeffrey Howard. Police say they received tips that led them to suspect Howard. The Newell Marshal's office has a warrant for his arrest for the charge of animal abuse. The dog was found on February 23rd. A local rescue group brought the dog and her puppies to a veterinarian. The arrow was removed and the dog is now recovering. Some Joplin High School students will be showing off their skills in trade, technical, and skilled service occupations later this month. Skills USA, a nonprofit national education association that helps students prepare for their futures, will have 33 students from Joplin's Franklin Technology Center competing at the state level. Technology Center officials say this is a good amount of participants as they've been trying to get more student interest, especially after COVID. They say the culinary program, as an example, has seen an interest from local businesses.
Just in the culinary program, we've had numerous businesses reach out to see if we had any students that could come work for them because it's a huge need. And I know in every industry it's like that. So I'm sure a lot of the other instructors have gotten that same call many times.
Anderson says senior students graduating from the Franklin Tech Center with Skills USA training can be ready to go straight into the industry. Some grade school students in Carthage took a flight to Japan this morning, sort of. They never actually left the ground or went to an actual airport, but they simulated the experience. The Fairview Elementary students did everything from going through security, checking in their luggage and finding their seats, to enjoying some in-flight snacks. It's all part of a lesson on Japan and its culture.
We want them to have the whole experience, get to see what it's like to get to the airport, get their passport stamped, get their baggage checked through customs, and then boarding the plane. We want them to have the whole experience.
As part of their lesson on Japan, the students also learned how to use chopsticks. Foreign ministers from around the world are in India for a meeting of the G20 group. The gathering allowed for a very rare face-to-face discussion between U.S. and Russian officials. Reporter Nicole D'Antonio has details.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken delivered a straightforward message to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov.
End this war of aggression. Engage in meaningful diplomacy that can produce a just and durable peace.
This is the first meeting between the two since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Blinken also met with China's foreign minister, and he reiterated that China should not provide weapons or support to Russia for its war efforts.
We've not seen it do that yet, but we've seen it considering that proposition. And what I shared with him again was that this would be a serious problem for us in our relationship with China.
As a sign of just how far relations between Russia and the U.S. have declined, last week Russian President Vladimir Putin announced Russia would be withdrawing from the last nuclear arms treaty between the two countries.
I told the foreign minister that no matter what else is happening in the world or in our relationship, the United States will always be ready to engage and act on strategic arms control, just as the United States and the Soviet Union did even at the height of the Cold War.
Blinken also implored Russia to release American Paul Whelan. The former Marine is accused of spying and has been in captivity since 2018. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Russia continues to insist that the West is forcing Ukraine to fight in the war, even accusing Western nations of blackmail and threats. The Biden administration is increasing aid to Ukraine in a way you might not expect with farming. Ukraine has a long history of agriculture, which makes up more than 40% of its export revenue. Russia's invasion severely damaged that sector, and the country's economy has plummeted by more than 30%. Well, now the U.S. Agency for International Development has announced new partnerships with 3 companies that have histories of working in Ukraine. They'll help support storage infrastructure in the country's agriculture sector. The White House has unveiled a new cybersecurity strategy calling for comprehensive regulation of the nation's vital services. The new framework calls out China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea for aggressive cyber tactics exhibiting, quote, reckless disregard for the rule of law. It also elevates ransomware attacks such as the 2021 Russia-linked offensive on Colonial Pipeline to issues of national security. Federal workers also now have less than 30 days to stop using TikTok on government-issued devices over security concerns. Still ahead, making sure you're financially stable.
Several high-profile companies continue to cut jobs. I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with tips on how to protect yourself after a layoff.
And next in Health Watch, we're going to tell you some early warning signs that could indicate you're developing a migraine. Topping today's Health Watch, sleeping too little or too much may lead to health issues. Researchers at the University of Oregon found people who slept less than 6 hours a night were 27% more likely to report infections. But patients who slept more than 9 hours a night were 44% more likely to get sick. It doesn't take much exercise to have a positive impact on your health. Scientists found just 11 minutes of aerobic activity every day could lower your risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, or premature death. About 11 minutes per day is around half the minimum recommended amount of physical activity. About 39 million people in the U.S. suffer from migraines, though some doctors believe the number is actually much higher since many people with migraines go undiagnosed. When a migraine happens, it can sideline you from work, family affairs, and daily life. But there are some early warning signs you should know and new medications on the horizon. The throbbing and pounding effects of a migraine can be debilitating.
It's very common in people that are in their most productive years of life. It's one of the leading causes of disability worldwide.
Feeling tired can be an early warning sign of a migraine coming on. Having too little sleep can cause changes in proteins that help regulate the sensory response in migraines. Aiming for 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night is ideal for migraine sufferers. Another sign, changes in vision.
By looking at these small blood vessels in the eye, you can get a clue to the presence of disease in other parts of the body.
As a migraine is about to occur, you may experience blind spots or see flashing lights or auras. Taking medication as soon as you notice any of these symptoms can lessen the effects of the migraine. Pain in the jaw joint is also linked to migraines. Researchers found chewing gum while you have jaw pain can make the migraine worse.
The pressure starts in my neck area, and it's just building and building.
Last year, the FDA approved a medication called Qulipta and recently accepted Savegapant for review. If this new drug's approved, it would be the only nasal spray application for the treatment of migraines.
If we can very specifically target this CGRP protein, then hopefully we can prevent the occurrence of migraines.
One more warning sign, changes in the weather. A Japanese study found 3 out of 4 migraine sufferers reported the onset of a migraine with a drop in barometric pressure. And a sweet tooth or change of mood are not uncommon when a migraine swoops in, according to a lot of sufferers. Employees who get more paid sick leave get cancer screenings more often. A study by Tulane University showed breast cancer screenings went up 4%, colorectal cancer screenings went up 6 to 8%, in areas with paid sick leave mandates. The U.S. is the only wealthy nation in the world to not have federally mandated paid sick leave. A new alcohol avoidance program in South Dakota is showing early signs of success. The 24/7 sobriety program requires repeat offenders of alcohol-related crimes to get frequent alcohol testing. Those who test positive or miss a test may face 1 to 2 days in jail. The Rand Corporation says participants had a 50% lower risk of dying while they were in that program. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, we're going to learn about a patent Ford is applying for that will allow cars to repossess themselves.
And we're going to take a look at the radar to show you where the severe weather is right now and how much rain we can expect when we come back. Well, as expected, the rain has arrived in the four-state area, and there's lots more to go. Let's take a look outside right now at Seneca, Missouri, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Cloudy skies and scattered showers and storms developing across the area, also down in that area this afternoon as well. We made it up to 53 degrees. 38 this morning was the low, and that's basically right around normal. 55 and 33, 82 and 94 in 1904, 3 degrees back in 1980. Here's a look at some of the pictures. This was just outside of our studio today. You can see the hail covering the ground there at times, and then it melted. It looked like snow there for a little bit. Rain is now starting to move back into the area with a few scattered showers and storms. There is the flood watch that's still in effect until noon tomorrow. That does include Lawrence, Berry, Newton, McDonald, Delaware, and Benton counties in our area. Looking a little bit further south, look at all the severe weather down in southeastern Oklahoma. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings down in Texas right now. Also look at this large band of rain in southwestern Oklahoma. That is moving up towards the north and east, and that's the big rainmaker that we're expecting to move into our area later on tonight. Right now we're looking at temperatures in the 40s and 50s with east and northeasterly winds. A little bit warmer down in Jay, where they're currently 58 degrees. Look at the dew points, 50 down in Jay, and then you get into the 40s and then the lower 30s up towards the north and west, so still kind of dry up in Yates Center. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 47 degrees. It feels like 43 because of that northeast wind at 9. Dew point is 43 and the humidity is up there at 86%. In Pittsburgh, you can see the wind blowing the flag there, 47. 42 is what it feels like with that northeast wind at 12. Dew point is 40 and the humidity is 74%. Severe weather tonight is primarily going to be down to the south along the Red River from the Dallas Metroplex over to Little Rock. There is a slight or a marginal risk in our area, again, mainly down to the south and east, and the biggest threat is going to be the heaviest rain and maybe some hail as well with some of those smaller storms. The tornado threat is low, thank goodness, as well as the high wind risk as well. Rainfall is going to be, of course, around 100% tonight, maybe mixing over with some snow by tomorrow morning. Looking at the forecast, you can see that the rain advances from the south and west tonight. Then as we go through the morning hours, you can see temperatures dropping into the 30s. And again, some of this may mix over with some snowflakes as it ends on Friday mid-morning. And then by Friday afternoon, temperatures in the 40s and 50s with northerly winds. And then by Saturday morning, we'll see lows in the 20s and 30s across the area with southeasterly winds. Then Saturday afternoon, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the 50s once again. And then Saturday night into Sunday, we'll see milder lows, generally in the 40s across the area. Rainfall amounts, again, heaviest down to the south and east, where a couple of inches is likely, maybe even around 1.25 inches here in the Joplin area, lighter amounts to the north and west. Snowfall amounts are generally going to be a dusting at the most, not expecting a whole lot of snowfall with this system. All right, let's take a look at the next 7 days. We do have an alert day tomorrow, and that's mainly for the morning possible mix. And then the weekend looks great, and then more rain early next week. So a pretty active pattern setting up.
Yes, so we need to stay alert on that coming
Absolutely.
alert day. Thanks, Sam. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about today's weather with KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the app store of your choice, the Google or the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up, as some industries see mass layoffs, we're going to have tips to protect yourself if it happens to you. Topping today's Consumer Watch, good news for the labor market. Weekly jobless claims dropped again last week. The department says first-time claims for unemployment insurance kicked down to 190,000. That's 2,000 fewer claims than the prior week. Those numbers also beat economists' expectations. Despite a slew of layoffs in tech, media, and the mortgage industry, the U.S. labor market appears robust. There's almost 2 jobs available per job seeker. Though the job market is healthy overall, the once red-hot tech sector continues to lay off workers. And a lot of economists are predicting an economic slowdown that could lead to more cuts. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says there are some important steps to take in the event of a job loss.
Although the overall labor market remains solid, a drumbeat of high-profile layoff announcements should prompt even the most secure employees to create a layoff protection plan. Start by finding out if your company provides a standard severance package and add up unused vacation and personal days. At many companies, you can negotiate the severance, which may include more pay. If you receive health insurance through your employer and lose your job, you're entitled to COBRA, which provides workers and their families extended health care coverage for a limited time, usually up to 18 months. The big catch with COBRA, you usually have to pay a hefty monthly premium. It may be beneficial to check out healthcare.gov, which could offer coverage options cheaper than COBRA, especially if you qualify for tax credits. As far as your retirement plan, you can usually leave your 401k or 403b where it is. If you land a new job quickly, you should be able to roll over the old account into your new company's retirement plan. Otherwise, you can roll retirement funds into a traditional or Roth IRA. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
A judge says Starbucks broke federal law in its push to stop workers from unionizing. The federal judge ruled that Starbucks showed a, quote, general disregard for the employees' fundamental rights in a case involving 21 New York Starbucks locations. The coffee shop chain faced 33 labor complaints. The judge ordered the company to give back pay and damages to workers who launched national organizing efforts. Ford has applied for a patent for technology that lets vehicles repossess themselves. No kidding. If owners ignore warnings about missed payments, the system starts with disabling features such as GPS and air conditioning and cruise control and the radio. And it could emit irritating sounds when the driver's there. Next, it could lock the owner out, and if the owner still doesn't act, the vehicle might drive itself to a spot for a tow truck to pick it up, or to an impound lot, repossession agency, or lending institution. Future has arrived. A final check with the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, we're going to meet a 70-year-old woman becoming a viral sensation on TikTok for going back to school. Then on KOAM News at 6, Pittsburgh High School mourns the death of a student killed in a crash. Plus, a special guest visits kids at the Freeman Health System Learning Center. And Missouri Southern hits the floor today in the quarterfinals of the MIAA tournament against Central Oklahoma. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. We talk about having an out-of-this-world afterlife. The DNA of 4 former and late presidents will be sent into space. Celestic, a space burial company, is sending the symbolic remains of George Washington, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, and Ronald Reagan on its Enterprise flight. DNA samples from some non-former presidents will also be part of this trip, including some from Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek engineer James Scotty Doohan. They're going to beam up Scotty, apparently. How
Pretty
about
interesting.
that? Yes, indeed.
That's neat.
Some rain coming in.
We have some rain, lots of it coming up from the south, and that rain may mix over with some snow tomorrow morning. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. But a nice weekend, and then more rain next week. So all in all, not a bad forecast, especially this weekend.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.